about the importance and the power of a good nutritional supplement program. Our number today, 866-582-9933. Got a couple lines open for you if you have questions about the longevity products, health, nutrition, prescription drugs. If you want to get off your meds, if you want a loved one, help a loved one get off of their meds, 866-582-9933 is your number. Okay, so you want to get off your SSRI drugs, or you just want to boost your serotonin. Here's some strategies for you. Number one, eat more protein. Make sure it's tryptophan-containing protein. One of the best things about whey protein is its tryptophan content. I know there's lots of proteins out there. Whey protein is probably the best protein you got going because of it's a building protein. It's a growth protein. It's an anabolic protein. It's designed by nature to build tissue. There's alternatives, but they tend to be less tryptophan dense. Tryptophan, by the way, is found in these building proteins like egg protein. Your two best proteins, whey protein, egg protein. To a slightly lesser extent, hemp seed protein and sprout protein. There's lots of proteins out there. If you can do whey and if you could do egg, that's your best bet. Soy protein also has a little bit of tryptophan in it as well. Secondly, make sure you're eating carbs, but be very careful with grain carbs. These days, everybody knows about gluten, but as we've said many times, as problematic as gluten is, there are lots more compounds in grains, which at the end of the day are not really foods that the human digestive tract is designed to eat. This is why grains need to be processed. They need to be milled or they need to be chopped up, because grains are seeds and seeds contain anti-nutrients. Seeds were not designed to be eaten. Seeds are supposed to go on the ground where they're with water, where they're combined with water and soil and sun to make a plant. A plant doesn't want you eating seeds. There's very few nutritional strategies that are more difficult than getting off grains. If you're having a hard time laying off the pasta, you may want to treat this as a serotonin issue. It may be that you're instinctively looking for this carbohydrate-induced boost in serotonin production. Carbs will stimulate the production of serotonin. Protein actually is what serotonin's made of. Carbs will turn on the production of serotonin. Remember, serotonin is a stress hormone, and carbs and sugars are a stressor for the body. So increasing your carbohydrate intake, but being careful of grains is a second strategy for boosting serotonin. Up your veggies, up your protein, and you're going to find that it's much easier to resist cereal and bread and pasta. Increase your veggies and increase your protein. Try this experiment. Go get some whey protein, or if you can't handle whey, go get some hemp seed protein. Do a huge amount, way bigger, way more than you would ordinarily do, just for experimental purposes. Maybe 1.5, 2 grams per pound of body weight. If you weigh 150 pounds, do 7 or 8 or even 9 scoops of protein. That's a lot of protein, but do it just for an experiment. Put it in a smoothie, add some water, put some coconut oil and EFA in there. You always want to mix your fat with your protein. Do enough so that you feel really, really full. And you will feel full, folks, when you eat that much protein. Then try to eat some cereal or some bread. You're going to find it's difficult, if not impossible, to do. Protein will down-regulate your drive for grains. Really, protein will down-regulate your drive for any high-carbohydrate, high-sugar food. Now, you're not going to be able to eat 9 scoops of protein or drink 9 scoops of protein in a smoothie on a regular basis, but once you find that point where you don't want any carbohydrates, just sort of back down on the amount of protein you do. This is kind of an experimental thing. Start off with 9 scoops of protein, maybe 8 scoops of protein, depending on how much you weigh. Drink it down. You're not obviously, but you're going to see that you're not going to be wanting the bread and the pasta. Then the next time, try 7 scoops. See if that gives you that same kind of satisfying effect. It may not. Say it does. Back down to 6 scoops. Back down to 5 scoops. Find that sweet spot of protein intake where you don't crave bread and you don't crave cereal any longer. There's going to be a place where you have enough protein that your sugar cravings and your bread cravings and your pasta cravings will become diminished. While it's true there's lots of good stuff in processed grains, I'm aware of the zinc, I know about the B vitamins, I know about the protein and the essential fats and the fiber. There's lots of good things in grain, but in my opinion, there are so many things wrong with grains, it's hard to know even to where to begin the list. Last program we talked about grain opiates, so-called ex-orphans, morphine-like compounds, opium-like compounds, heroin-like compounds that are in grains. They have a numbing effect, a sleepy time effect. There may be a connection between exorphins and grains. And by the way, dairy contains these exorphin substances as well. There may be a connection between these exorphins in dairy and grains and a lot of mental health issues. There's a lot of literature that indicates that autism and schizophrenia may be related to these kinds of compounds that are found in grains and in dairy. Professor Rob Dunn, writing in the book The Wild Life of Our Bodies, says that 75% of our calories come from pharmacological type foods like exorphin-loaded, serotonin-stimulated, intoxication-inducing grains and dairy and sugar and booze. And of course, that doesn't leave a lot of room for protein and vegetables and essential fats. In fact, most of our caloric intake is related to medicating our brains. And by the way, these modern foods that medicate our brains, grains and dairy and sugar, refined sugar, all of these are modern foods that entered into our culture a mere 10,000 years ago, and really in a big way, 50 to 100 years ago, which in the biological context of our million-year-old bodies might as well be a millisecond. For most of us, our bodies are just not designed to handle this kind of food abuse from grains, from dairy, from refined sugars, from foods that have entered into our cultural milieu in the last 50 to 100 years. Grain exorphins are very similar chemically to our own naturally produced endorphins. We make our own heroin, we make our own opiates, we make our own morphine-like substances, these endorphins, and the similarity between grain exorphins and our own brain endorphins is the reason why there's a lot of problems here. We self-medicate and we become addicted to the exorphins in grains because our brain is hardwired to respond to these things. If you're deficient in your own endorphin production, say because your pineal gland is calcifying, for example, these things are made in the pineal gland. If you find yourself addicted to endorphins, if you have a pineal gland problem, you may find yourself self-medicating. If you're self-medicating with grains and you can't stop eating the bread, eat more protein. Protein can stimulate the production of your own endorphins, which is a much better strategy than self-medicating and exposing yourself to the anti-nutrients in grains just to get that exorphin buzz. Exorphins interfere with the immune system. They make you more prone towards autoimmunity and immune system breakdown in general. There's a lot of literature that indicates that exorphins may be involved in suppressing our ability to fight cancer. Endorphins are made in the pineal gland, and we do a lot of things that suppress our pineal gland's activity. Our pineal gland's health is compromised by a lot of strategies that we use and a lot of strategies we're told to do by the medical model, including staying out of the sun. Fluoride is one of the biggest problems when it comes to pineal gland health. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy. Attention! Do you owe money to the IRS or have years of unfiled returns? Are you being audited or receiving threatening letters? If the answer is yes, you need help. The IRS can seize your property and assets, impose fines and penalties, garnish your wages, and even go after your bank account. Don't take on the IRS by yourself. Don't let the IRS destroy your life. Take action now. Call our team of experts for a free and confidential initial evaluation. We've helped thousands resolve their tax problems. Let us help you. 800-261-7073. 800-261-7073.
There's a man named Dr. Joel Wallach who is anything but your typical doctor, both a veterinarian and naturopathic physician. Doc asks, why does the United States spend more money on healthcare by far and still rank 50th in health and longevity worldwide? He believes that people should empower themselves with a basic understanding of nutrition, take charge of their health, and attain optimal health and longevity through nutrition, not by toxic prescription drugs that lead to side effects and more toxic prescription drugs. Doc Wallach's message is resonating with an increasing number of Americans who are waking up to all the big government, big pharma, and big insurance manipulation of our healthcare system. I'm George Norrie, and I like what Doc Wallach is saying and doing to enlighten people about healthcare. Visit brightsideben.com and listen to Doc Wallach's Deadly Recipes lecture. It makes a lot of sense, and I urge you to join the Brightside Ben team. Go to brightsideben.com. That's brightsideben.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
You can prevent being the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
So we decided to upgrade the look of our home.
You know, improve the curb appeal.
We decided to add the look of stone to the exterior.
We really like the stacked stone look.
Yeah, but when I checked into the price, it was ridiculous. No way could we afford it.
Then a friend told me about Genstone. Genstone.
Genstone comes in lightweight panels made of polyurethane. They've actually engineered the hassle out of installation. No mortar, no mesh. It was easy. Even I could do it.
We just screwed the panels to the wall and it looks like stone. I mean, it really looks like stone.
Yeah, from the box to the wall in minutes.
We love the look of our home now.
And Genstone is durable, comes with a 25-year warranty, and offers additional R value for insulation.
If you want the look of stone at a price you can afford, call Genstone
at 855-955-STONE.
Trust me, you'll save money.
And you'll love the look.
855-955-STONE. That's 855-955-7866.
Not just an alternative to the mainstream media. We're the premier independent talk radio network. We are GCN.
Welcome back to the Bright Side. 866-582-9933 is our number. Got a line open for you. If you're trying to get off of SSRI drugs, if you want to support brain health, if you want to support the serotonin aspect of brain health, eat more protein, eat carbohydrates. 40% or so of your calories should come from carbohydrates. Stay away from grain carbohydrates. Stick to veggie carbohydrates and easy on the fruit. And be very, 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 very careful about exposing yourself to the most pineal gland toxic substance that we're exposed to on a regular basis, and that's fluoride. Don't drink tap water unless you have no options. Stick to distilled water. Stay away from soda and pop and reconstituted fruit juices, all of which can contain fluoride. SSRI drugs can contain fluoride. How ironic is it that SSRI drugs have a specifically damaging effect on the part of the brain that's responsible for serotonin production? Drugs that we're actually prescribed drugs, we're taking drugs that are supposed to support serotonin, and these very same serotonin-supporting substances have a negative effect, have a suppressing effect, have an inhibiting effect on the gland in the brain that produces the stuff that SSRIs are supposed to support. How ironic is that? The pineal gland, by the way, contains the highest concentrations of fluoride in the body. You could think of your pineal gland as a fluoride vacuum cleaner. The reason the pineal gland fluoridates so easily is because of the mineral iodine. If you look on the periodic table of elements, you're going to see iodine in the same vertical row as fluorine and bromine and chlorine. All of these are called halogens, and they're in the same area. They're located in the same row on the periodic table, and that means they're all similar. Halogens are found in halogen lights.